This is a 1975 MGB GT. It was designed in 1962 and built between 1965 and 1980. This one is in aconite purple, which was only sold for a couple of months. It was sold for a year and only a couple of months with the rubber bumper, so this specific one is quite rare. All MGBs were fitted with the B Series 1800 engine. It's a 1.8 litre inline four with dual carburetors on the side there.
The MGB in its original roadster form was first introduced in 1962 at the Earls Court Motor Show, and it was to become Britain's best-selling medium-sized sports car ever. Brought in to replace the already successful MGA, this all-new unitary construction two-seater was powered by a 1798cc version of the British Motor Corporation B Series engine. This went on to power the MGB and MGB models virtually unchanged, except for a 5-bearing crankshaft instead of 3 from 1964 for another 18 years until it went out of production in 1980. This engine was coupled to a 4-speed manual gearbox with optional overdrive. However, the overdrive became standard to all MGBs of all variants in 1975. Automatic gearboxes also became an option in 1967. Suspension for this car was by coil spring and wishbone at the front and semi-elliptical leaf springs at the rear, with lever arm dampers all round. It was fitted with front disc brakes, and steering was by rack and pinion and not power assisted. 1965 saw the launch of the GT fixed-head coupe version of the car, and with its fold-down occasional rear seats and opening tailgate, this was a very practical sports car indeed. 1967 saw the introduction of the Mark II version of both versions of this car, and these models benefited from an all-synchromesh gearbox and an alternator instead of the earlier car's dynamo. It was in late 1974 when the MGB gained the rubber bumpers, which were disliked by many MG devotees. These bumpers were in fact added by British Leyland, who by now owned MG, to comply with the United States safety regulations to avoid loss of valuable export sales in the US market, as the MGB in both variants had always sold well in Northern America. The next 5 years saw the MGB continue with only minor revisions to its styling, and the MGB range was finally discontinued in 1980. The popularity of the MGB today remains very high, and with the model being well catered for by clubs and parts manufacturers alike, it makes the perfect classic car for anyone. Throughout its production, the specifications of both versions of this car remain virtually the same. Both cars had a 1.8 litre 4-cylinder inline engine with 95 brake horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque. They were both rear-wheel drive with disc brakes in the front and drum brakes in the rear. They could both achieve a top speed of 105 miles an hour and would achieve anywhere between 22 and 28 miles per gallon. They would reach 60 miles an hour in anywhere from 11 to 14 seconds. Depending on whether it was a convertible or a GT variant of the car.